remember Philip Sarota. He's on the Lindenwood University team, so outfielder and first baseman. So, can you just tell me what it was like growing up in Poland and then like pursuing a baseball dream out there?
I mean, it all started whenever I entered like middle school, kindergarten, maybe. My mom signed me up for to play baseball because she thought it was an exotic sport, and I was just having fun with it, but never really competed until I was like 16, and that's whenever everything started, and I left to high school to America and started playing.
So you were 16 when you moved from Poland to the America.
One more time.
You were 16 when you moved from Poland to America.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so like, what made you want to be like a first baseman or an outfielder? Like, was it just a position you liked the most, or did you feel like you were better suited there?
So I in high school I was a catcher,
Okay.
and then I got recruited to junior college as a catcher in Kansas. But as soon as I arrived to junior college, I realized how many bullpens I would have to catch. So I just told the coach that I was an outfielder, and he just moved me there. And then
Funny.
they taught me how to play first base last year. So it's something new to me.
Okay. Do you like playing first better in the outfield, or you're just learning on the fly a
No,
little bit still? You like,
I I hate first base, but whatever makes our team better.
yeah. So like, what was your experience like in the junior college? Like, how do you feel like that prepared you to play at Lindenwood?
Honestly, I think physically it got me ready to join the Division 1 level of baseball, but playing at the Division 1 level is definitely much different and it takes adjustment because the game is much faster and everybody who's a superstar at junior college is playing Division 1 baseball. There's nobody who is an average player from a junior college at the Division 1.
Yeah. It's a good point. I was talking to a kid from UCF who had a similar thing. It was Kendry Maduro. He said that he went to junior college first, and then he went to the D1 school. And he also told me like the speed of the game was like a big thing for him. That he said it was like way different, like the pace of play and everything.
It's definitely faster.
Okay, so like when you were growing up in Poland or maybe even coming over to the States, like are there any players that influenced you? Like maybe any Polish baseball players or any MLB guys you look up to?
To be honest, I did not watch any baseball whenever I was in Poland. Did not look, I didn't look up to anybody. I was just kind of messing with a game, and uh, this one day I just saw a video on YouTube of a Vanderbilt player. I was like, I kind of want to do that too. And I just left, and now I'm here, so playing at the same level
That's really cool. So like here's another thing. So you did you leave with your family to go to America or did you make the trip by yourself?
by myself.
Wow.
My family still is living in Poland and are doing very well for themselves.
So did you go to an academy for high school? Like what high school did you end up going to? It's like a baseball academy.
I went to three different high schools because two high schools shut down whenever I was there.
Hmm.
And the main one that I went to was in Kansas, and it was like a academy. Yeah.
Oh, so like, did you do room and board there basically? Is that like how you did?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I
That
was
was
wondering since you went with your family, that makes sense. So were you there like during the pandemic? Is that why you had the challenge of going to three different high schools?
yes, it was very hard. I didn't play much high school baseball just because it was COVID.
Right.
It was also very hard to get recruited to college. Maybe I could have went to a better junior college or a better school in general if pandemic would not be an issue, but was what it was, and I'm glad that I ended up where I did. So,
Yeah, it just seems like a very interesting journey for sure. So this is a little fun sidebar. Did you play any other sports or did you strictly play baseball when you were growing up?
uh, I did play tennis a little bit, and I practiced judo
Oh,
growing up.
okay. All right. So when you were in Poland, like, was there any coaches that influenced you out there, or did you just kind of try to do things on your own a little bit? Like, what type of stuff do you do to practice, especially like when you didn't have baseball in 2020? Like, what were you doing to
Well,
keep yourself fresh?
so the coaches back home were not very educated yet
Hmm.
as they are right now. It was much different. The practice field that we had tree in left field. Uh, so it was also we didn't have any practice space. Now we have really nice facilities back home. So baseball in Poland now is much better than whenever I was there.
Okay. So speaking of that, I saw you did play in the European Championship last year with the U23 team. So what was that experience like?
I kind of always played with a national team, so it wasn't anything new to me. It's a good experience. Uh, it's just very, I would say maybe it's hard on my body, I guess, because it's after a whole season at the school. So I'm already like 80, 90 games into going into the World Baseball Classic tournaments. So I'm like 20 pounds lighter, like worn out, and maybe not as mentally strong. Because while you go with a season, it kind of gets you mentally too,
Yeah.
especially if you compete at the higher level.
So how many years have you played for the national team? Because you told me it was like a few years. So like how when was your first time you played for the national team?
So I started playing for the senior national team. I had my debut whenever I was 15,
Okay,
and I was a pitcher back then. Now I'm kind of only playing outfield. So,
got you. So like what's a cool environment or stadium you played in? Like what's like is there an international competition that stands out to you, like a game you were in or like a moment you had during one of those games?
not really. It's baseball in Europe is much slower, so I wouldn't say it's different. But just because I was raised there, it's actually more normal than baseball here.
For you,
So I wouldn't it wouldn't stand out to me just because it's something normal for me.
I see what you mean. Do you think now how does the competition compare on the international level to the collegiate level? Like, do you think it's tougher to play internationally, or do you think it's tougher to play like a D1 college season?
I think that Division One player is going to struggle playing internationally, and I think international players who play internationally would struggle playing Division One baseball. Just because Division One players are tired after their seasons
Mm,
whenever they would go into it, and international guys would just have to figure out how to keep up with speed of the game because there's no pitch clocks and we're international ball and the game is just much slower.
right, that's a good point. So I'm gonna give you a hypothetical. Let's say Poland made the WBC. Would you play for them in the World Baseball Classic if they were to qualify for it?
Oh, of course I would. I definitely would. Yeah, and there are some really good guys playing international ball too. Like uh this time whenever we played at senior national team for I played for the senior national team, there was a pitcher who pitched uh who was a closer at the for Pittsburgh Pirates, and now he's pitching in the Mexican League with Trevor Bauer.
Okay.
Uh, he was throwing like 98. So like not a lot of college guys can do that.
Yeah,
And he also had way better control than the college guys, as well as secondary pitching.
yeah, it definitely has to be some contrast. I know another thing that's definitely different is that I don't think they let you guys play with metal bats internationally either. So that's a
No,
big
it's all
difference.
wood. That's another thing that would be adjustment for a Division One player or any kind of collegiate player. Changing to a wood bat would definitely affect their game. It's just harder to hit with wood bats.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I used to play a little bit too. I never loved swinging the wood either, so I get it. But metal is easier, of course. So you have a nice jump so far this year. You have 4 homers in 11 games, 12 RBIs. OPS is over 1,100. So like, do you feel more comfortable this year at the plate? Is that showing in the numbers, or do you think it's just like the reps and just like getting more used to playing D1?
It's definitely experience, and it's still early in the season, so physically everybody is very fresh. But I would say that experience is definitely the most important thing. And I'm kind of surprised with my numbers right now because our field is very pitcher friendly. The wind blows 30 miles in, and it's a huge field. So there's not a lot of homers at our ballpark.
Wow, well, that's really cool as well. So, like, what's the competition like playing in the Ohio Valley Conference? Like, how is it going against the conference opponents? I know this you haven't done that much this year yet, I don't think, but like, what's the conference like?
So based on last year, because I played here last year too, uh, Ohio Valley, I would say, is probably in the middle of the Division One conferences. Uh, we play a lot of out of conference teams before the conference starts, and most of them are worse than the teams in our conference or the same. So,
Oh,
like, I would say, let's compare. I don't think Mizzou would win our conference, and it's an SEC school. I think Mizzou would be like fourth or third in our conference.
Gaia, that makes perfect sense. So, um, has there been a game that stood out to you this year? Like any really cool games, some moments with your school at Lindenwood, or like any like any situation or anything that a teammate told you or something that was cool?
Well, I really like the team we have this year. Everybody is on the same page and everybody wants to win. There's nothing particular that stands out to me, but uh, I like the phrase. It's just another day in the office. Just doing another day.
Okay, that's cool. So I know you said nothing stands out to you, but do you have like a favorite game or like a favorite performance you had in your college career, or like?
We just played against Southeastern Louisiana. I just had two homers, and one of them was well over 400 feet, so that was pretty fun.
Okay, that's the stuff we love here. So do you I was gonna say like what type of pitches are you best at hitting? Like are you a good fastball hitter, breaking ball? Like how do you like what's your area of the zone that you like to attack?
Well, definitely off-speed pitches are something that's much easier for me to hit. I have no clue why. It's just easy to get the barrel out in front. Uh, but the main thing for me is just to make sure that I'm not chasing pitches out of the zone, especially that I definitely have way less reps in my life than any other player on the field, just because I was born and raised in Poland.
Yeah. Wait, what were you saying? I couldn't hear that part. You said you have less
So,
what?
so it's just because I was born in Poland, um, I had way less reps
Oh,
than any
reps. Okay, I
American.
got you. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So like that, yeah. So like that, you've had to like make up for that, understandably. So, like I'm trying to think here. So like, what else do you like to do besides baseball? Do you have any other hobbies that you enjoy doing?
Well, playing baseball and being a college student is not easy, so there's not much hobbies you can have. So I would say the biggest hobby is just hanging out with the boys after practice, and that's pretty much it. Other the other thing that you have to do is just study.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I know you were talking about like the transition from like the outfield to playing first base. Like, what's been the most difficult part about doing that switch, like from outfield to first base?
Oh, catching 100-mile-an-hour ground balls. That's not easy. No, it's definitely way quicker at first. The game is way quicker at first, and the position players also throw the ball to you whenever they feel a ground ball, and it's still thrown over 85 miles an hour. So you got to stay focused all the time. Where in the outfield, you can just be loose and you don't have to be focused all the time.
It's a really good point. I've definitely played a little both too. What's been your favorite road trip in your college career? Has there been like a cool stadium you played in, like in the college ranks, or like a cool bus trip you guys took?
I played at a lot of very cool ballparks. Uh, Probably Bradley University is one of my favorites. Like they play on a single high A field, single A, and the field is very nice there. So it's always cool to go there. It's not very far, so your body doesn't hurt after the road trip.
Let's go. I was gonna say this. Oh, so you guys are 6-6 right now. So like, what are some team goals you have like for the team this season? Being that I believe it's your last year of eligibility, or do you have another year of eligibility left?
I do now with junior college not counting towards the years of eligibility. I
Oh,
have one more year of eligibility, and our team is looking really good. Our offense is very good. We have, I believe, maybe six, seven guys who are hitting over 300 right now with very good slugging, and our pitching is getting better every day. We should have won at least two more games. We we played at Southeastern. We had a 3-run lead going into ninth, and they walked us off. We struggled against Mizzou. We put 10 runs. They put 14. Our like it should not happen, and a lot of walks that scored, that they score after. But overall, our team is looking very good, and we're going into series with Butler this week. And I mean, we should take four, but worst case scenario, we're gonna take three.
there you go. Yep, you always got
Yeah.
to say you're going to take them all. So that's the team standpoint. What's your personal goals for the season? Like, where do you want to see yourself grow as a baseball player? Maybe even off the field too, or just like give me the whole rundown of what you're thinking going
I
forward.
mean, it would also always be cool to have a shot playing professional baseball, but I also don't want to play for really little money. Therefore, it would have to be a really good opportunity. Uh, but other than that, like in-season goals are definitely hit over 300 and with 10 plus home runs, which is going to be very hard because our ballpark is just the ball is every road trip we go to, every field feels like it's a lunch pot just because our ballpark is so big and the ball flies nowhere. Uh, to be fair, we have like all the rapsodos and everything. To hit the ball out of our ballpark on a regular day, you have to hit it 108 miles an hour just to show how hard it is to hit a homer. ballpark.
That's just because the weather's crazy. It's just like the wind
Yes, the
blowing
wind
it
is
like
just
nuts.
blowing in. The ball dies. The ball flies very heavily. It's just it's just not a hitter spark whatsoever.
That's wow. That's really nuts. I gotta watch some clips and see like what you're going through. I gotta
Yeah,
look
our
more.
for we for the other day we played South Illinois State and we almost hit a walk-off homer. We won the series, but the game that we lost, we were down by 1 or 2 runs, and our 7-hole hitter, who's a first baseman, came up to hit. He's like 230 pounds, straight, just lean muscle. Hits a barrel to left field, smokes it. Everybody just jumps up, excited. We just won the game. No, we did not. The ball just hooks back, and the left fielder is catching it.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Um, no, it's definitely interesting, I would say.
And
Uh,
I believe he hit it like 101 with great launch angle. Still did not go out.
that's tough, bro. That's really tough. Yeah, I hope. I mean, at least you guys are doing as well as you can. You have 4 bombs through it, so that's good news. I mean, just take advantage of those road parks for sure. It's
Yeah,
been a little
that's
bit.
that's how you gotta play here.
I know the weather definitely is interesting out there, like you've been saying.
Yeah. I mean, if our field would be turned the other way around, it would be a hitter's park, no
Yeah, it would
matter
be.
how big the field would be.
It would be an extreme hitters park. So, like, are the dimensions of your field big too, on top of the windy
Yes, we
conditions?
have it's 400 feet to center field
Hmm.
with a 25-foot fence.
Yeah, wow, that is pretty big.
And then it's 385 to the gaps
Hmm.
with also pretty high fence, high enough that you cannot rob a home run. And then the lines are like 335 feet, I believe, maybe 325, but it goes like straight out from the line. So there's like it goes straight from 325 to like 385 in an
Whoa.
instant.
Yeah, so I'll bring you back to the international landscape. We can wrap it up soon because I know I've definitely got a few good ones in here. So, like, what do you think the next international event you might play in for Poland is? Like, do they have a schedule of like what you might do next, or are you just focusing on the college season right now?
I'm just focusing on the college season. I'm definitely going to be in Poland this summer because I just want to see my parents. I definitely would like to play.
Have you watched the World Baseball Classic as a fan, like seeing how it is for the other teams in it? Like, have you seen them play? Not like live, but just like turn on the TV and watch the WBC
Yeah, I
sometimes.
did watch World Baseball Classic whenever it was on. It's definitely fun to watch because it's a different type of baseball. It's cool to see Czech Republic play there.
Yep.
A bunch of engineers and electricians just playing baseball and competing with Japan or America. Super cool to see.
Yeah, one of them struck out Otani somehow. We were still trying to
Yeah,
figure
and
out
I actually he struck out on Tani, and I played with him the past summer. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
against him, and I actually hit 2 home runs in a row of him. So that might mean that I'm better than Otani.
I'm definitely gonna have to use that. I gotta find the guy and see where you hit the 2 bombs off him. Did you play?
You can find it on my Instagram.
Okay, I'll definitely check your IG for sure. I follow you now anyway, so that'll be cool to look at. When did you? I just out of curiosity, I will look obviously, but like, what was that you hit that against him? Was it like an exhibition game, like a Czech against Poland exhibition or something?
No, so I actually played a couple games in Czech Republic
Oh,
just to stay
okay.
in shape, because the baseball is pretty good there. And it just turned out that he was pitching one of the games, and I mean, he just hit my barrels. That's all I gotta say. A little lucky there, but it's what it is.
That's pretty cool. No, I'll definitely have to check that out. Looking forward to seeing how you progress throughout the year. So, Phil, thank you so much.